Alright guys, I realized that before I can get into any of my Britannia stuff, I actually do have to clear a pretty large space on that island. So I need to do some lumberjacking before we can actually get into that, which I'm going to take some time to do right now. But before I get into that, I also want to take the opportunity to put up my mailbox, because I know that Mr. Collingsworth said I should take some time and get settled in and get everything up and going, but I've got, a company to build, and I need some capital to do it. I've got, three mod licenses that I really want to put together, and I don't have any capital to do it. I have very little money to actually buy any licenses right now. And I also want to get my, I guess, asset management system or debt management system, depending on how you look at it. I want that set up so that I know where I'm at. And the only way to do that is to put up the mailbox. They said they are going to wait for that. So rather than, go through the effort of putting up a bunch of stuff and then putting up my mailbox later when I'm more prepared for it, I'm just going to put it up now, and we're just going to jump right in. And I don't know where I want to put this mailbox, so... okay, you're not... I was going to say, how did Sir Woolington get up? You're not Woolington. You're Woolington's twin brother. Dun, dun, dun. Where should I put this mailbox? I don't know. You know what? Flawless. Perfect place for my mailbox. I'll probably move it at some point, but for now, that's where we're putting my mailbox, because I am a rebel. I am putting the mailbox on the roof. I dare you to deliver my mail, mailman. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, I need to start doing some lumberjacking, so I'm going to take the opportunity to do that, and once I've cut down a whole bunch of trees and, made this a little bit more open so that I can actually do something with it, I will cut back and we'll get started on a little bit of Britannia. Well, the island is now mostly cleared off. I'm going to leave some of the fringe trees for now because it does break things up a little more and makes it prettier in my mind. But while I was chopping down the trees, I had a almost unfortunate moment of realizing that I missed a spot. So we're just going to fill that in right now with that guy. This will, of course, be back to the same color as everything else once we have a log out and log back in. That resyncs the server with the, not the server, but the client with the server's biomes, which doesn't happen in real time, apparently. But that's fine. So now I don't have any, real big risk of falling suddenly to my death as I'm running around my Britannia. Oh, there's a lot of stuff right there. My Britannia Island. Alright, so what are we doing on the Britannia Island? Well, I've got a potato farm, right? And it's just the maximum sized farm you can get with just regular farmland, water, whatever. You come over here, you harvest it, I toss them in the top, put some coal in this guy, and it makes me baked potatoes. That's not very automatic, really, because I have to do everything myself. So I want to take Britannia and create an automated potato farm that outputs baked potatoes. And the whole reason I want to do that is that I want to start creating new, or at least different, forms of power generation. I did coal, and that's great. And in the newest versions of Britannia, in fact, coal is the entry-level power. Dayblooms and nightshades, I think they're nightshades, both no longer exist in Britannia. They've been gotten rid of. All of the truly passive power generation is gone. Now it's all at least some form of active. I think the other entry level I think is hydrangeas, which take falling water and turn that into power. But again, with those, they consume source blocks, and you need to create a whole setup. So it's still consuming something in order to produce power. But I want to go and actually use food as power. So that's where we're going to go to the Gormarillis here. That's going to be our new power setup. I should say our new mana setup. Again, still thinking like a technologist and calling it power, but it's a mana setup. So we're going to basically create an automatic potato farm to bake potatoes and feed our Gormarillis, which will give us power. And the reason we're doing baked potatoes at first is that it's pretty much the easiest food. I definitely want to do more complex foods later on to get more bang for buck out of Gormarillis, because baked potatoes actually aren't that great a power in a Gormarillis, but they're good entry-level power. It'll get me on my feet. To get this going, we're going to create an automatic potato farm that has been deeply inspired by Jansey. He has, again, some of my favorite Botania tutorials, and he did a pretty good auto farm. Mine's going to look a little different than his, but it's definitely going to be largely as inspired by what he did. So we're just going to grab all the stuff that I'm going to need for this, which pulse minus spreader, hovering hourglass, couple of mana pools, some basic drawers, and some of this also I'm going to have to move from this over. But we're going to get started on creating a nice little easy potato farm. And the way he did it is he built it into a great big square. And I don't want to do that because it didn't feel very space efficient. So it's going to be less material efficient the way I'm going to do it. We're going to move these. Wow, that was special right there. I'm going to move these guys. Why can't I move the flower? Flower? Are they not actually there? Oh no, that one's there. Whoa, that was weird. Huh. So they're not actually centered. They're like, this one doesn't even seem... Oh, there it is. Okay. Wow. So that's a little bit of a bug. But anyway, I'm going to actually do it in rows to see if I can get it more compact. The issue with doing it in rows is that the setup is going to be more material costly, I guess is the word. It's going to be more costly materials to get set up. Why is this over here? Oh, that's an oxeye. That's a different kind of flower. Okay, that's not a pure daisy. So it's going to be more expensive to do because I'm going to need more redstone and more pieces to make it work in rows, but it's going to be more space efficient. And for me, that's actually the bigger deal because I am on a place with kind of limited space resources. So what we're going to do is, and I need to drop my torches because there's currently a little bit of a bug where only the torch is supposed to, or not the torch, only the pickaxe is supposed to drop torches, but if you're carrying torches and trying to plow a field with your shovel like I'm going to do here, it still causes the torches to be placed. So we want to go, let's step over a little bit here and say like right here. So we're going to go 1, 8. Okay. So as you see, I've just turned it into path right now. I don't want to turn it into farmland quite yet. Right now, I'm just going to be kind of outlining where I'm going to have everything. And then I want to skip a row and put another one down. Oh, there's some of those worms I was talking about. That'll actually be helpful. Now that I think about it, I got 4 worms from that. That may actually let me do this without having to place any... this actually is an opportunity now that I think about it. If I put a worm here, let's take this torch down and move it. Now, where should I move this torch to? Because I do have to put this torch back down. Okay, so as you can see, the worm's already turning... Did I put that in the wrong spot? No, that's fine. This worm's already turning this into nice, fertile farmland. So we want one there, so that'll be to 6, and then we'll put another one here. It'll overlap with this guy, but the overlap isn't actually that big a deal. What this is going to do is it's going to keep all this as fertile farmland, and I won't actually have to put down a water block, which I think is actually pretty key, because the water block does take up some room, and I don't know, it breaks up. This just feels nicer, so that's actually pretty cool. So we're going to do this with worms. So next, the thing I want to do, and I realize I should have done this first, because they're also going to be keeping this farmland moist. But the thing I want to do is actually place a row of dispensers in the air pointing down at this farmland. And unfortunately, the best way to do that is either to use a wrench or to dig up all this farmland I just placed and, yeah, put them down like that. In many ways, I could have thought this out better. That's okay. Oh, well, so let's dig up some of this farmland, because we'll need to create basically a floating block. All right. I'm going to need some more dirt than that. That's fine. All right, give me some of this dirt. Because I want this to be... I want the block to be right there. So I want to go up 2 more and then place one there. Okay. What if I... Now that I've got that set up, if I take our dispensers, I can place them like so. Now that will then, with a piece of tilled soil under it, if I dig this back up, if I place a bit of tilled soil under it, I can then activate this in order to plant whatever's inside in that square. with these guys keeping this all, moist and fertile, that's not going to be a problem at all to keep this as, farmland. So this is going to be our planting method. As you can see, I made a nice set of 15 of these nice dispensers. So I'm going to make a double row here of all these dispensers all pointed down at farmland. This center row I'm going to be keeping open, and you'll see why in a couple of minutes. So I'm just going to get this all set up. Hopefully I can just, I'll be able to chain these together, and I will be back once I have all these set up and hovering in the air. Alright, so now we have our floating double row of dispensers that are going to be planting our potatoes. As a proof of concept, I'm just going to slap a button on one of these dispensers, throw a couple of potatoes inside that I just grabbed from my farm, and see if it works. And indeed, it does. So, in order to make this work, we need a way to get the potatoes into the dispensers. So to do that, we're going to put a hopper into every single dispenser. Now, in a technological pack, I could easily do this with just transport pipes, but I don't really have transport pipes right now. There is hopper ducts, which might actually be a solution to this, but I don't really know anything about hopper ducts, and I don't even have the license for it yet. So we're just going to use regular hoppers for now. And on top of these hoppers, we're going to build some track. So I've got some regular just Minecraft track here, and we're just going to build this across the top of the hoppers. And eventually I will make a path that brings these back around. Now I can't build on top of the dispensers. The reason I can't build on top of the dispensers is because I need to keep those open for redstone signal. I do not have access really to anything that I can use to bring redstone to these blocks from any of their other sides, and native redstone can only be brought in from the top or from the side of each one, which is, the side is space efficient, so the top it is. So we need to save the tops for the redstone. Alright, so this is the basic framework of how we're going to be getting potatoes into the hoppers and then redstone signal to them to plant the hoppers. Alright, so now we have to work out the logistics of how we are going to get this whole setup to work. And I thought about it a little bit, and this is actually a little bit of a problematic build because of the way that I have it set up. However, with some thinking, I figured out how to get it to work. And what we need to do is to power all of our redstone, we need to use a mana detector with a mana burst that's going to go through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a mana detector, actually one up in the air right here, with the idea being that this mana detector will be receiving a timed burst to activate this redstone. In order to get that redstone over there, we're going to have to put some stone blocks there, and I just realized my pause is because I don't have any blocks on me. So let's go grab some bricks here real quick. Just grab some regular old stone brick. So anyway, we're putting the stone brick around like so, and around like so. And we'll put some redstone across the top of the mana detector, and like that. Okay, so that should work. We need to test my supposition here. Yeah, okay, so this is actually a weirdly elegant solution because it's going to be very compact, although I just realized I need to move this mana detector out one more block, so give me a second to actually do that real quick. Alright, I moved it out one block. Now, if you're wondering why I needed to move it out one block, it's because I need to have a stop here to work with our track, and I'm going to need a stop here as well. Now, if I'm right, what's going to happen is that this block, when it activates, will send our redstone down through each of these lines and activate all of the dispensers. However, these redstone blocks are kept isolated from that circuit because of a little weird thing with redstone, in that it doesn't really like to connect to things that are right next to it unless there's also redstone on that spot. So these blocks of redstone, while they are emitting a positive redstone power signal, it's not bleeding into this setup here because of that weird little quirk of redstone. Now, the thing that I'm not 100% sure of is what will happen when I put the booster track on either side here. Now, I'm hoping this is going to be enough here. If not, I think I can put booster track all along here, and it shouldn't be affected or interact with this redstone at all. And then what I'll do is I'm just going to put some blocks down here, like so, and some more track. In fact, I may actually replace a lot of this with... I'd actually do not want to replace that with booster track, because then it'll activate this redstone signal. But I can replace some of this down here with booster track, and what should happen is that it will just endlessly cycle back and forth between these two blocks of redstone, which will give us our delivery method to get potatoes into all these dispensers. So that keeps our nice isolation, while at the same time it keeps this build relatively compact, because otherwise, if I were to do it with the way Jansey did it as far as his layout, I would have to have one going 8 blocks that direction and then another one going 8 blocks this direction, which creates kind of this weird situation where you've got a bit of a dead zone inside, a dead zone where you're not fully utilizing all the space inside your build. This just feels nice and compact, and I'm going to be getting 2 full rolls of potatoes, which probably isn't going to be enough, which what I'll eventually be doing is expanding this, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But I just realized I don't actually have any booster track on me. I, for some reason, neglected to build some, so we're going to go and build some booster track. Now, our pack here, which I haven't mentioned it before, but many people in the comments have figured it out. This is actually the new Minecraft 1.10.2 Ilabs pack, which we're calling Ilabs the Next Generation, or Ilabs TNG. It's being hosted on Curseforge, and I have put a link in the description for that. Just looking to see if I've got any pre-built, which I have not. I don't have any. I'm actually going to need that, and I mana distributor I don't need yet. So if you want to check out this pack, go ahead and check it out there. It's under active development by Toasty right now. I was pretty active in the development, but then I got busy and tired and busy some more. So I wasn't able to take as much part in the more recent updates as I probably would have liked to, but I got the ball rolling on this one, so I felt pretty good about that. But anyway, so what we need to do is make some booster track, and the reason I kind of segued into all that is to say that we actually have the new Railcraft on this pack. And then in the newer version of Railcraft, everything is actually just recipes. None of the Railcraft multi-blocks and stuff are actually in Railcraft yet, which is actually kind of nice, because that means I don't have to figure out weird ways around it. I just have Railcraft as part of my mundane set now. So we're going to need gold and redstone in order to make advanced rails with our wooden rail bed, and redstone in order to make our booster track. So that's pretty easy. So I need some gold, and I need a little bit more redstone. Let's just grab a whole thing of redstone, and I should be able to make... Oh, I need some booster, which I think I've got some, don't I? I got some wooden ties. I think I need wooden ties in order to make poor Taco something the pains of immortality. Okay. That's... Alright, thank you, Hollow. I have no idea what that means, but it's fine. Alright, so we got the booster track, and now we need to assemble that into... So I need a wooden rail bed, which is just 4 of these. Luckily, I've got exactly 4 left. If you're running about creosote and stuff like that, it's actually a whole... It's actually a whole set of... not a whole set. You actually take some coal or charcoal and just burn it in a furnace. So it's actually a very simple version of Railcraft, and I'm actually digging it. Like the part of that kind of was making Railcraft hard for me in this run through was the fact that it's at its heart a technology mod, but with all the tech actually not in it right now, it makes it a lot easier to use. So I should be able to just do that and that. Now I have no illusions that I can just throw a hopper cart and have it go all the way around. I'm going to have to replace some of this with booster tracks. But we can try it, see how far it gets. And server is a little tiny bit laggy right now. Maybe it is going to make it all the way around, and it should just... Okay. Lagginess aside, and that nice stutter stop hopper cart there, that should actually work pretty well. Now the next test is to drop a whole bunch of potatoes, because I know that the hopper cart physics are that when they're filled to the brim with stuff, they don't move quite as nicely. So we need to grab, I guess we're just going to grab all those potatoes, and we're going to fill that hopper cart with all these potatoes and see if it can still make it all the way around. If it can, then we are done. If it can't, then we're going to have to put some more booster track on here. Can I get... Okay, there we go. So, Okay. So let's see if she makes it all the way around now that she's filled with potatoes. I don't know why my minecart with a hopper is a girl, but it is. So it looks like it's just going to come up a wee bit shy. It might actually make it, but I'm worried that that's going to lead to uneven distribution, which it might. I just realized I have no way. Oh, I should be able to check these. I'm not getting it dropping into this dispenser. Did we already go through all of our potatoes? No? Yeah, for some reason it... Oh! Yeah, these aren't going to work because they got a block of redstone right next to a hopper. Of course those aren't going to work, Taco. Jeez. But that's okay. We should be able to rebuild this just a little bit in order to account for that. All we got to do is, again, space this out one more. And in fact, if I move... I should be able to move this... No, actually I'm not going to be able to do it that way because I still have to move this out. So I got to move this whole shenanigans down here one more block out in order to get these two on the end to work, because I was silly and was thinking, oh, I can place redstone next to a hopper and that doesn't totally mess them up and stop them from working. But otherwise, other than the ones on the end being kind of messed up because I was a doof, it is working to distribute. So that's actually positive. We just need to, move it out a little bit. All right, so that's our basic distribution system. Now we need to create the actual potato harvesting and routing system. But before I do that, I am going to fix this. So give me a little bit. I'm going to fix it, and then we'll be back.